News shocker. Fox News is full of multiple Fox News hosts, along with senior executives at the network, mocked and insulted Donald Trump and his advisors in the weeks after the 2020 presidential election. We know about this thanks to a new legal filing by Dominion Voting Systems, which is suing Fox News and other right-wing outlets for defamation. Dominion is asking for $1.6 billion, you heard that right, as compensation for the damage it says it suffered. As Fox guests and hosts claimed, for instance, that Dominion's voting machines were designed to rig elections for the Venezuelan autocrat Hugo Chavez, and were equipped with an algorithm that could erase votes from one candidate and just give them to another. Examples include exchanges like this one, where Tucker Carlson told Laura Ingraham, Sidney Powell is lying, by the way. I caught her, it's insane. Sidney Powell, of course, was one of Trump's highly qualified lawyers. If by highly qualified you mean to hang around Trump, which makes you kind of like the bars, it's not super high. Attorney Sidney Powell claimed that widely used voting machines from the election technology company Dominion Voting Systems featured software created at the direction of former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez to swing his own election results, and that the company has ties to the Clinton Foundation and Soros. They like to throw Clinton and Soros on there just to round out their lies. Ingram responded, Sidney is a complete nut. No one will work with her. Ditto with Rudy.
Meanwhile, they're on their air.
Yeah, and they're on their air.
No one will work with Sidney Powell. Up next, Sidney Powell.
Exactly right. And then Carlson replied, our viewers are good people and they believe it. They were concerned that their viewers were believing the truth accidentally, but they're good people, so we gotta make sure we still lie to them. But of course, like Cenk just mentioned, on air, Ingram had no problem platforming Sidney's insanity. Take a look at this video.
This is coup 5.0. And the Department of Justice and the FBI really need to get after it right now and investigate all the reports of fraud. There are hundreds of them.
Yeah, well, I hope Attorney General Barr is doing that. Very, very hopeful that he's doing that. Otherwise, we're in big trouble as a country, especially with elections going forward.
Maybe that's why the show is called The Ingram Angle, because they take the truth and they're like, what angle could we put on the truth to spin it just a little? Don't give Tucker Carlson any credit either, because he didn't want to debunk Trump's lies and hurt his audience's feelings, God forbid. He was also concerned about how Fox's stock was performing. Fox News stars and executives were afraid of losing their audience, which started to defect to the conservative cable news alternatives, Newsmax and OAN, after Fox News called Arizona for Biden. Fox viewers were like, wait a minute, a result we don't like? Is there another news network that maybe will keep giving us facts we prefer instead of adjusting their reality to the world? On November 12th, in a text chain with Ingram and Hannity, and Carlson, a text chain straight from hell. Carlson pointed to a tweet in which a Fox reporter, Jackie Heinrich, fact-checked a tweet from Trump referring to Fox broadcasts, and she said there was no evidence of voter fraud from Dominion. Carlson replied, please get her fired. It needs to stop immediately. The truth is what he's referring to. Needs to stop immediately, like tonight. It's measurably hurting the company. The stock price is down, not a joke. Heinrich had deleted her tweet by the next morning. The stock price is down, stop the truth immediately. This is really happening, folks.
That was literal, that was literal. Their election team told the truth and their stock price went down.
Yep.
And it sent them into a panic. They were not in the business of selling the truth. We're in the business of selling lies, and all their hosts knew it.
Yes, and not just their hosts, but the owner of the parent company. Rupert Murdoch shared similar concerns about Fox's profitability taking a hit. On November 16th, Murdoch emailed Fox News president Suzanne Scott with a warning about Newsmax as the small conservative network gained support from Trump and viewers who defected from Fox out of outrage over the early call of Arizona for Joe Biden. Quote, these people should be watched if skeptically, Murdoch texted Scott. In other message exchanges, Murdoch made clear that he found the election denialism to be insane. Rupert Murdoch called Trump's voter fraud claims, quote, really crazy stuff. On one occasion, as Murdoch watched Giuliani and Powell on television, he told Suzanne Scott, chief executive of Fox News Media, quote, terrible stuff damaging everybody, I fear. So, let's keep it going. Let's triple down. This is damaging everybody, I fear. You literally see Mr. Burns going, yes, everyone's being damaged. The plan is being executed perfectly. It's just very, very strange. I've said it all, but Cenk, please add to this madness.
Okay, I want to add just one quick thing and then go to Tyler. For defamation, you have to prove malice. And that is very hard, especially when you're suing a media organization, because they have freedom of the press protections under the First Amendment. The only way you could prove it is if you had internal texts and emails saying, we definitely know that these people are not telling the truth. Let's put them on the air anyway. Man, they're in a world of hurt, man. They might actually lose this thing and owe a couple of $1 billion. Brian.
Yeah, here's what I think is a pretty important part of all of this is that Fox right now is hiding behind, that this is, they're just focusing on the newsworthiness of it. And so they were just some neutral arbiter in all this. They were just delivering the news, not playing any role in it. But what we know based on all of this is that they weren't some neutral arbiter. Like I said, they were a character in all of this. Like when a Fox reporter did actually deign to tell the truth, it was Jackie Heinrich tweeted that there was no evidence of fraud from Dominion. That's when you got all of those responses from Tucker and Hannity saying, get her fired, seriously, WTF, like I'm shocked, this needs to stop immediately, quote, like tonight. So again, it's not like Fox was just showing the news, they were shaping the news. And I think that that's gonna be a major element in this, because their defense is that they were just some hands-off player, but very clearly there was nothing hands-off about this.
And exactly right, because the head of their news department, again, Suzanne Scott, according to the brief by Dominion, was very well aware that Trump's claims were baseless. When another Murdoch-owned property, the New York Post, published an editorial urging Trump to stop complaining that he had been cheated, Scott distributed it widely among her staff. Mr. Murdoch then thanked her for doing so, the brief says. The president of the network, Jay Wallace, is quoted at one point criticizing the former Fox business host Lou Dobbs, one of the biggest megaphones for Trump's lies, saying, quote, the North Koreans do a more nuanced show than Mr. Dobbs, the brief says. How did the managing editors react to this? Well, Bill Salmon, Fox's managing editor in Washington, is quoted as saying, it's remarkable how weak ratings make good journalists do bad things. Salmon, along with politics editor Chris Steyerwalt, were pushed out of the network following the election. Ron Mitchell, a senior Fox executive who oversaw the Carlson, Hannity, and Ingram shows, because he probably did something very bad in his past life, texted privately with colleagues that the Dominion allegations were, quote, the Bill Gates microchip angle to voter fraud, referring to false claims that microchips were injected into people who received COVID vaccines. How is Fox?
What's crazy?
Go ahead, please.
What's crazy about this is they're like denigrating that coverage as if it was the Bill Gates microchip angle of this. They're the ones who promoted the Bill Gates microchip angle of this. Like all the things that they're criticizing their own coverage for being. They're like, oh, it's like that lunacy over there. That lunacy over there was literally perpetuated by Fox News. So for them to point to that stuff, such an indictment of themselves.
So true. This is the Sean Hannity of lies, says Sean Hannity. I mean, it's very confusing. So how is Fox trying to defend itself in court? Fox argued, like we mentioned earlier, that the network was doing what any media organization would, just reporting and commenting on a matter of undeniable newsworthiness, and that many of its programs, they say, did not endorse the claim the election was stolen. Some hosts viewed the president's claims skeptically. Some hosts, a couple of them occasionally, didn't accept his lies full stop. Others viewed them hopefully. All recognized them as profoundly newsworthy, or not. Or you could just not cover stuff that destroys our democracy. But that's just my thought on it.
Well, was the North Korean-like propaganda that Lou Dobbs was doing, according to you, newsworthy? I mean, we didn't call it North Korean propaganda. We would, and we will now. And we pointed out how absurd it was. But North Korean propaganda is as bad as it gets, right? And their own executives knew that. God, man, this is if ever anybody's in the press is going to lose a defamation suit, this is it. It's so hard to win these. They might still somehow, get out of it in one way or another. But no matter what happens in the case and how many billions of dollars Fox News might lose, you now know. I mean, if you all had a sense of this, unless you're a right winger or you work in Washington, right? But now it's absolutely positively confirmed. The executives, the hosts, everyone's like, yeah, our audience is nuts, and if we don't give them what they want and we don't lie to them, they're gonna go to Newsmax. So, and that's what Rupert Murdoch said in another email we covered earlier in the show, where he's like, this is everything. Everything's at stake, he said. And we can't have the truth slipping out. If it does, because guys, here's the thing. They make a profit by selling a product. Now, some people make profit from actually delivering the news truthfully. Great, well, that's awesome. That's what you want. You want that to be a good business model so more people do it, right? But Fox News never thought that their product was news. They thought their product was making right-wingers feel good about themselves. And you can see why that worked and why they're very, very profitable. Because some people want the news, some people want truth, but a lot of people just want to feel good. So they want to tune in and have somebody go, oh yeah, white people are awesome. They're the best. Black people should stop complaining. Oh, gay people, come on, they're ruining the country and the culture. Oh, these damn Jews, they saying happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas. They're the real problem. You're the solution, they're the problem, okay? And guys, you're totally right, man. It doesn't matter if we have more votes. We should always win. Of course we should always win. And everybody in government is bad, and you should get your gun loaded. And you probably have beat them in the woods. You probably will, right? I mean, you'll take down government tyranny. They want to hear all of these pretty little lies. And so for 1 second, they broke the business model by saying Biden had won. And then the rest of it was like, screwed if we get sued. We have to go get the audience under any circumstance. And they knew it. And now we know because we've seen their internal messages.
I think what's so telling about this too is that like we'll look at this and we'll say like we got him now. We have the proof now. We have the proof that Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham all know that they are knowingly spewing complete BS to their own audience, and like now their audience has to know that they're being played for fools, but they won't, because the benefits of operating in this hermetically sealed media ecosystem is that none of this stuff will ever get out. And Fox isn't going to cover this stuff. They're not going to cover their own admissions of the truth, about their own audience. So this stuff will just keep going, and we'll all be out here like, man, how can people keep watching this stuff? But there's nobody, unless somebody can like break through and tell them on those networks, they're never gonna know. And like they kind of know that they can just ride this out, because unless one of their own audience members tunes into CNN, which they won't do, then they're kind of in the clear.
Yeah, last thing on that is this great circular logic. And anybody who wants to be lied to always does circular logic, right? So I put out these statements, and like Tucker Carlson calling Donald Trump a demonic force. That's a text. It presented as evidence in a court of law. If they're not telling the truth about that, there'll be severe consequences for Dominion, right? So there's no question that it's true. Their lawyers are professionals. They're not Trump lawyers. Okay, so I put that out there. What was the first thing the right wing said? They all said it at the same time. They already have their talking point. Oh, so you believe Dominion? Okay, why don't you believe Dominion? I mean, they're presenting it as evidence in court. There's consequences if they're lying, right? They're like, oh, of course I don't believe Dominion. I heard on Fox that they're liars. So that goes to Brian's point. They're not gonna believe, even if they hear it, they're not gonna believe it because they heard Fox News telling them that Dominion's lying, which was Fox's original lie that they're getting sued for. That's amazing.
One more thing on this whole idea of circular logic, it's that this whole idea that they're just that they're just focusing on this stuff because of the newsworthiness of it. But the only ones promoting this as news is Fox itself. And so it's only newsworthy because they're bringing it forward as news and then pointing to the thing that they just created as the newsworthy segment here. So again, it's just like this idea of like circular logic, and that it wouldn't exist if it wasn't them, if it wasn't Fox News itself who was putting this to the forefront.
That's exactly right, because if they're presenting it as news, they would be saying, like legitimate news networks do, the former president is claiming this, there's no evidence yet to back it up. And they don't say that part, which means they are endorsing and adding an opinion to a story that they know to be false.
And to my first point, when we first started this segment, when they did have reporters who did try to call out this stuff, for what it was, Jackie Heinrich, they fired her. So again, like it's not like they're just focusing on. It's not like they're focusing on all of this. When somebody does deign to tell the truth on that network, she's duly punished for doing so.
Yeah. I don't know if she was fired or if they at least wanted to fire her. I'm not certain.
Oh, right. Yes.
But she did delete the tweet.
She deleted the tweet the next morning.
Because we have the text of them saying, fire her. Is she not at CNN now, though?
I don't know if she is, then she was fired. So
the degree,
I don't know when
it happened. Got there is not yet clear. By the way, can I just note, here it is in the middle of the story, us doing fact checking of ourselves. Right. That's what you do when you're doing honest news. Right, so Jackie Heinrich was clearly deleted the tweet. There's clearly messages saying we got to stop her from telling the truth. We should fire her immediately. Right. She's ruining the product by telling the truth. It's hilarious. That's not a direct quote. But we don't know if that's why she was fired or when she was fired. So we're being honest with you. I know, revolutionary idea.
And so while it is true that it is hard to find a media organization guilty of defamation, we do have, at least in not a news organization, but one that wishes it was, we do have InfoWars and Alex Jones being found recently guilty for his defamation of the Sandy Hook families. And so maybe there's a trend heading that way. We don't know for sure, we'll have to wait and see, but we do know for sure that as soon as Kari Lake finally loses her opposition to her election at the Supreme Court, there will be a new show on Fox News called Carried Away with Kari Lake. So at least we got that to look forward to.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.